contributing to our society. And without that, where do we go without skills? I was 2-year college president, and that was so special because you reach out to these students who have potential beyond what they knew. And we served them, and we helped them get into the mainstream. Education is a way out of poverty. It's a way of service. And God bless each of you for supporting public education, because that is the way of our future. We've got to have it for our state, for our nation. Education is the way. And reach out to those who need help in getting into the mainstream of education. Thank you. God bless you.
Y'all, Senator Joyce Elliott.
Thank you all for being here today, and thank you for this wonderful weather that you brought with you. But this is really kind of symbolic of what we need to be thinking about. We're having some bad weather today, but you showed up anyway. We're having some stormy times in education today, and you showed up anyway. And so what we need to remember is all not going to be about good weather and sunshine for us to get through and do the kind of things we need to do in education. There is nothing wrong with there being clouds and storms and all the things that are happening, because people have a right to do what they think they need to do for the good of education. But we have a responsibility that if they are doing things that we think is going to hurt public education, that's for the good of all the kids in our state, we have a responsibility to respect their right, but hold up our responsibility to do what we know we need to do for the kids in this state and for public education. So when the weather is stormy, when things are not looking good, when only 5 people are talking about showing up, don't let that happen. You get 5 more, and then 5 more, and 5 more, and fill this room and fill the space every time. Because please don't think this is a one-day event. This is not a one-day event. The bills that, in my estimation, and folks that we're working with, those bills that are not in the best interest of public education from our standpoint as we see it, will continue to be filed. And if you think they're going to go away when you go away from here, I would suggest to you that's not the kind of thing that we need to be engaged in. There is no way, no matter how much I want to do on a day-to-day basis, there's no way I can do it, legislators can do it, and the folks that are part of the coalition who are around Little Rock every day, we cannot do it without you. We should not even attempt to do it without you, because it can't happen. For you to stand up and say, I own public education, and I own it for the good of all kids in this state, is absolutely, absolutely incredible and important. I decided I have made a decision that in this state, and you need to be real careful about saying that there are certain things that I just won't do, or certain things I just won't compromise on. You need to be real careful about that. So when you throw down the gauntlet, as they say, be sure you mean it. There are very few things that I feel as strongly about as I do about making sure we preserve public education for everybody. We are not against any kind of reform that is going to be progressive and is going to be inclusive, and reform that is going to be for the best interest of public education. We're not against it. Please understand that. This is not even about being against charter schools, which some people want to say. So this is it. Thank you for being here. I have dedicated myself to teaching and the legislature and to Arkansas. And I thank you for having that same dedication to what it means that if our democracy is going to be as strong as it should be for everybody, that we are responsible for making sure it works. Thank you guys. You look great out there. Kisses, and don't fail to show up every day that we need you to be here.
Representative Representative Frederick Love, who is from Little Rock, and he is also the chairperson of the Legislative Black Caucus. And I'm going to tell you something. He is one of those up-and-coming legislators that has really spoke for the low to middle income people and have continued to do that through his whole tenure.
Once again, my name is Frederick Love. I am the chairperson for the Legislative Black Caucus. And I do want to let you know that the Legislative Black Caucus is in full support of continuing to support traditional public schools. Now here's the thing. As you know, the traditional public school is under attack right now. That is no secret. But what we need to do is we need to pull together. We need to make sure that the other side hears our voice. Because if we don't, if we stay silent, we are as guilty as those that are attacking our traditional public school. So number one, I want you all to make a commitment to be here when we discuss these educational bills. But not only the educational bills, because we're on attack under a lot of fronts. And it's always good to see warm, friendly faces in the meetings with us. So make a commitment not only to be here for educational policy, but make a commitment to be here on other policies. Make a commitment today to be here, to stand with us, and I tell you what, in the end we'll have victory. Thank you all, and thank you for coming out.
Lavina Grandin, who is the president of Rural Community Alliance. She and her organization has been doing a lot of great work in rural communities around public education. So y'all please give her a good round of applause.
Thank you. And it was just exactly almost 10 years ago that I took part in a rally on the Capitol steps here to keep our state from closing 2/3 of our school districts. And so many of you here, many of us here remember that probably, and some are too young to remember it. But in those 10 years that a lot of us came together and worked to keep those schools open, the way we did it was to propose that we have the best school system that could be had in Arkansas that served every child. And we've made a lot of strides in that direction with all of you all, the people that work with the Public Policy Panel, the people that work with Rural Community Alliance, with the people that work with Advocates for Community, for Children and Families, and other organizations in the room, AEA. We all have worked together to make Arkansas's education system the best that it can be. And we've still got a way to go, but as we've heard, sometimes our schools are under attack and people say that they're not doing well. The best way to save our schools is to get in there and work locally and work up here to enact legislation to make them the very best and to make them serve every child. And so I really appreciate every person that has taken the time and the effort today to come and say, I'm standing up for education, for public education that serves every child, no matter where, no matter how. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for being a part of this movement that I'm a part of and standing with us for what we care about in public education.
I want you guys to just call out the cities that you are from real quickly, because I want to. Say that again. Marble. Jeremiah. There you go. Camden. All right. You got some from Fayetteville. Mariana. McGee. So, guys, this is a diverse group of people. And get up that early and drive down here, even in bad weather. So we really appreciate all of you for doing that.
In 2002, we had the gift of the Supreme Court ruling in the Lakeview decision that said our school system was unconstitutionally inadequate and unconstitutionally unfair or unequal. And they ordered the legislature to do something about it. And the skies opened and a miracle happened. And Republicans and Democrats in the legislature and the governor's office actually worked together and put together some reforms. Now, we didn't like quite every single one of them, but we liked most of them. And by God, they've been making a difference. And in the past 10 years, Arkansas has had one of the best, fastest improving education systems in the country. And Education Week ranks us number 5 overall in education quality today. How about that? Now, this is really inconvenient. And this is inconvenient because nationally there's a very well-financed movement to say public education is failing. Public education can't do it. We need to privatize. We need competition. We need to do all of these other strategies. And it's really an assault on public education. And they've used the Arkansas that existed before 2002 as their whipping boy poster child of why their movement has legs. But their movement hasn't penetrated Arkansas. Why? Because we've actually been making progress. Well, this past year, we've seen a concerted effort of this movement to come to Arkansas. And they've been sending out flyers across the state saying that Arkansas's education system is failing. And they've seized on one point out of the education quality data that says Arkansas overall scores a D. And that's true. We have a long ways to go. What they don't mention is that we're near the top in several indicators of where progress is heading. And what they don't mention is that the national average is only a C. So, and the third part that they don't advertise, though, is that the solutions that they propose have very little data to back them up and, frankly, have very shoddy track records where they've been tried. And the reality is the investments that this state has made, that you all have made as taxpayers and as voters and as legislators, the investments that we've made together have been making progress. It is working. Now, every one of you that's a parent or a kid in a school today, or a teacher or an educator or just a community member knows that we're not there yet, right? We got a long ways to climb. But when you're climbing up a mountain, if you got a choice of 3 things, someone wants to offer you door number 3. You're not sure what's behind it, but trust us, it's better than what you got. Come on through. Someone gives you a lead weight, or someone offers you a proven rope with data behind it that we know works, we know will help you to the top of that mountain right now if you start using it. Which one do you want? You want the rope, right? This isn't a real hard choice. This is the choice that's being offered to Arkansas right now through this movement. And our counter is what's on this green panel right here. These are the proven ropes that are going to help. We know that these are going to help improve Arkansas' education system. There's no question about it. We know that you all involved with these things, if you all go home and actually engage in your schools as students and as parents and as community members, and you push for these things locally while we're pushing for them together here at the legislature, man, we're going to knock this out of the park. It's not that we know it's going to work, it's going to fly. So I want you to just look at these things. I want you to think about which of these things you would disagree with. Which one of these things do you think you would take mystery door number 3 over this? Okay.
And its own discipline, and if we as parents get together and work with the children and the teachers in the school, they can be all that they can be.
Please, before you leave, shake somebody's hand, tell them you love them, tell them that, yes, we can. Thank you so much.